Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here, got another Master Duel video for you. Coming at you with some more Snake Eye, but rather than Fiendsmith Azamina Snake Eye, we are going to be on Millennium Fiendsmith Snake Eye this time. I did actually want to try out this variant a little bit sooner, but I just didn't really get around to it until the past few days. But I can definitely tell you, having already played it for just a little bit, that I think if not on par, this might actually be even better than Fiendsmith Azamina Snake Eye. The list you're seeing here was taken directly from the second place of rating duels for Season 38. But even before those top 10 decks had come out, I had heard murmurings, right, of people saying that in rating duels, especially in like upper ranks up there, the Millennium engine in Snake Eye was really tearing it up. And it's not just in Snake Eye too. The Millennium engine is really more paired with the Fiendsmith stuff. So the way that it works is, I believe you can open any one of these to get all of the relevant bodies. Either the Golem that guards the Millennium treasure, I think, and then Sengenjin Wakes from Millennium, as well as the Wedju Temple. These cards all kind of like search each other, so really any one of them is enough to kind of get going, right? But at the end of it, you'll have yourself two level 8 bodies and a level 6 body to work with. That can either allow you to link off into Moon of Closed Heaven and then later into Sequence to go full Fiendsmith line, or if you already have Fiendsmith or other plays in your opening hand, then what you can do is instead make the number 90 Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord. And this will basically kind of act in the same way that Ilya Sylvia does, preventing you from getting hand trapped on turn 1. And it even comes down before an Abiru, just like Ilya Sylvia did. Now, obviously, it's not an Omni-Negate, so it doesn't stop Imperm, but I think in every other way, number 90 is actually just 100% better than Azamina Ilya Sylvia on turn 1. Think about it. It's got bigger stats, it doesn't tribute itself, and you can stop something like a Nib on your turn and still have a negate for their turn. So I think that this is a very, very valuable addition to the deck. You can play number 38 instead if you really want to, which negates spells, but because of the ability to play through hand traps with number 90, I think it is just the better choice, personally. One thing I also really liked in this list that seems a little bit weird is actually Snake Eye Birch. I really just like having another extender that you can search for off of Ash. I think this person was really cooking with this list because there have been so many times where you open like Poplar Bonfire or Ash Poplar. Really just opening Poplar in general makes your Snake Eye Ash a lot worse, unless you have something like Birch to search, right? Because even though of course not as good as Poplar, it is still an extender that can special summon itself. So I think this person was really cooking by including Birch in this list. I think the only other thing I would want to experiment with moving forward is possibly trying to add the Kashtira engine as well. That might be a little bit too much for the main deck, but I think that it's definitely possible to find room for those. Oh, another card that I haven't really talked about much is Dramatic Snake Eye Chase. So I have been seeing more and more lists on this card as opposed to the Temple of the Snake Eye, the field spell, right? And it makes sense because this allows you to not only put the Snake Eye Diabell Star into your spell trap zone like you would with the Temple, but it can also optionally place regular Diabell Star, which can super duper matter. Also, the ability to summon the monster during the end phase is not completely irrelevant. Another Snake Eye card that we're playing in this deck that we haven't in previous builds is the Snake Eyes Doomed Dragon. So I think that this card is not just good in Millennium Fiendsmith Snake Eye, but it's actually not bad in like other Snake Eye variants as well. Now, granted, with like Azamina, you don't really have the ton of room in the extra deck if you're playing that as well, but you could still play Doom Dragon in an Azamina variant. This is also the other level 8 that lets us go into the Photon Lord, right? And that is how we do that with the Millennium engine. I'll show that off in our first replay here, but This card is also phenomenal going second. The special summon effect is, of course, highly relevant. And, of course, it's very easy to bring this card out. It can be any 2 monsters in the spell trap zone. It doesn't even have to be a Snake Eye plus an illusion, right? That's just if you're, like, fusing it with polymerization. But, no, for the most part, you can just get away with any 2 monsters in the spell trap zone. All right. I think that's going to about do it for the list itself. I think I said everything I wanted to about it. Why don't we break it down card by card, and then we'll look at some of these games. So for this list, we're on 1 Fabled Berry, 2 Effect Valor, 3 Droll and Lockbird, 1 Snake Eye Ash, 1 Snake Eye Oak, 1 Snake Eye Birch, 1 Snake Eyes Poplar, 2 Maxi, 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 2 Mulcharmy Fuelos, 1 Golem that guards the Millennium Treasures, 2 Fiendsmith Engraver, 3 Diabellstar the Black Witch, 1 Snake Eyes Flamberge Dragon, 1 Snake Eyes Diabellstar, 3 Sengenjin. Yeah, Sengenjin that wakes from Millennium. We got 2 Bonfire, 1 Original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye, 1 Fiendsmith's Tract, 1 Wedju Temple, 2 Call by the Grave, 1 Crossout Designator, 1 Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils, 1 Dramatic Snake Eye Chase, and finally 3 Infinite Permanents. It's going to round out our main deck. For the extra, we're on 1 Fiendsmith's Lacrima, 1 Snake Eyes Doom Dragon, 1 Fiendsmith's Desiree, 1 Beatrice Lady of the Eternal, 1 number 90 Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord, 1 Link Rebo, 1 Fiendsmith's Requiem, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Salamangreat Great Sunlight Wolf, 1 IEP Masquerena, 1 SP Little Knight, 1 Moon of the Closed Heaven, 1 Fiendsmith Sequence, 1 Promethean Princess, Bestower of Flames, and finally 1 Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess. That is going to do it for our list. Let's look at this gameplay now. Okay, our first opponent is playing Azamina White Forest without Fiendsmith. They're playing a Cashier package and, like, Super Polys? Which I guess is probably why they're not on Fiendsmith, so they can have the room for Super Poly targets. But anyway, we're going to be going first, and this game will highlight how the Millennium engine can be used, not just in Snake Eye, but, like, really this kind of, like, mini line that I'm going to show you here is applicable to a lot of different decks, like I was saying earlier. So, we're going to start by activating Golem that guards the Millennium Treasures. Basically, all the Millennium monsters have the effect to place themselves in your hand from your hand as a continuous spell. Then you can pay 2,000 life points or reveal a Millennium Ankh to special summon them and then do an effect. So Golem, we pay 2,000 life points to add the Wedju Temple. Now we can activate Wedju Temple, which allows us to add or rather place the Sengenjin directly from the deck into the spell trap zone by placing a monster in our hand into the spell trap zone. So I have an extra Droll and Lockbird, I'm going to put that in the spell trap. Now we activate Sengenjin, pay another 2,000, special summon, and we can add another Sengenjin. Now, the first Sengenjin was placed by the Wedju Temple effect, not its own. That means I can pay, or not pay, sorry, you only pay to summon. That means I can place from my hand into the spell trap zone the other Sengenjin I just added. Now, by sending those 2 monsters in my spell trap zone to the graveyard, we summon Snake Eyes Doomed Dragon. Again, if you wanted to go into full Fiendsmith line, from here you would link into Moon of Closed Heaven, and then later into Sequence using the Golem. But here, I already have Bonfire for Poplar. So instead, I'm going to overlay my Sengenjin and Snake Eyes Doomed Dragon for the number 90 Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord. And again, this is not unique to Snake Eye, because the Doomed Dragon, as you very clearly saw, did not require me to use a Snake Eye or Illusion monster to summon it. It was just Droll and Lockbird plus Sengenjin. So, you can do this in any deck. This engine is applicable in any deck, which I think is really, really cool. Anyway, gonna go for the Bonfire for Poplar now, and then we're going to, of course, special summon Poplar. At this point, we're just gonna do Fiendsmith Snake Eye stuff. Well, I mean, we're gonna get impermed here, so, actually, you might think, oh, so we don't get to do any Snake Eye stuff, but that isn't even entirely accurate, because what I can do here is I can link off Poplar and Golem to go into Moon of Closed Heaven. Now from there, I'm going to link off my Moon of Closed Heaven to go into the Fiendsmith's Requiem. Of course, we're going to activate Requiem to send for the Engraver. Now, I still haven't used my normal summon yet, so I'm going to normal summon my other Droll and Lockbird. And then I get to link it off with Engraver to go into the Fiendsmith Sequence. Now from here, we're going to go Sequence to put back our 2 Link monsters and summon out the Lacrima. And you're probably already guessing what we're about to do here. But indeed, I will bring back Engraver and then overlay. I could have added to hand if I wanted to make like an Appaloosa here, but no, I'm going for Beatrice. That way I can use Beatrice to dump Snake Eye Ash. to which we will then go into Promethean Princess and combo anyway. So that's another reason why I don't think it's that big of a deal that Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord doesn't stop Imperm. I mean, sure, sometimes it matters, but like, this deck has so many starters and extenders, and you can use hand traps as extenders that, like, I think it's fine. So, here, this is a situation where you definitely want to add Birch because we opened Poplar, and we can even use the Wedju Temple as part of Snake Eye Ash's effect. So the Millennium engine actually does have extra benefit when being played with Snake Eye here as well in that regard. Now I can Oak, bring back Poplar, gonna link off Poplar and the Promethean Princess for the Sunlight Wolf, just to unfirelock myself. Note that I didn't activate Poplar earlier. That's because I wanted it in the graveyard to be able to use as an extra body with something like Oak. I'm just going to use Sunlight Wolf to grab back Oak here just for follow-up plays. I'm going to have plenty of level 1 fire monsters for Flamberge here, so I think we'll be good there. Going into IP Masquerena, Flamberge activating for Ash, and then Birch back. We can still use Engraver to bring itself back as well. We just have a ton of bodies that we have access to here. Now, I did already use Promethean Princess, so I can't bring back Flamberge, which means I do need to keep my IP on the field, but I still think this is a very serviceable end board. We have 3-mat Appaloosa, which I think when paired with the number 90 does become a lot more powerful. Now, Appaloosa is still prone to getting, like, probably not imperm unless I top deck it, but like triple tacked or board wiped or whatever. But yeah, when paired with another monster negate, I think it becomes a lot better. And then we still have IP into Birch here for like, or IP with Birch into SP rather. So, oh, and Maxi. We also happen to have the best hand trap in the game in our hand as well. Okay, so they're gonna go normal summon Sylvie. We're definitely gonna use Appaloosa to negate here. No sense in using number 90 just yet. Here my opponent threatened to go to battle phase, so we're going to link off the IP and the Birch to go into SP Little Knight. Now Little Knight effect, I'm going to banish the Sylvie here. Opponent's going to special summon LZ Azamina. We're going to fire off Maxi in order to get a draw for that. I don't feel the need to use a monster negate here, because what I can do is as soon as LZ Azamina goes to activate its effect, I'm just going to use Little Knight to banish the LZ Azamina. Now they're no longer able to fuse, so they don't have enough materials, and all they can do is set one card before passing back to us. Top decking another Sengenjin here. I'm going to start by bringing back the Engraver. Didn't expect my opponent to fire off their back row right away, but it's a call by, so I guess that makes sense. To use it now against my Engraver here. But of course I can still just normal summon Oak, bring back Poplar. Can even use Poplar to add Dramatic Snake Eye Chase, but we don't need it. We already have Sengenjin here anyway, so... But it's worth noting that if I didn't top deck Sengenjin, I could have just Dramatic Snake Eye Chased for the Snake Eyes Diabell Star, summoned that, and then that would have been enough to go for lethal here, so... There we have it, alright. I think that game was a pretty good showcase of not just how the Millennium engine works in this deck, but also playing through hand traps, executing your negates on your end board, all the good stuff that is required to pilot this, and a lot of combo decks well. But that's, of course, far from the only game we've got. Got a couple more here. Let's take a look at this next one. All right, next opponent is this will be a kind of mirror match. They're playing Millennium Fiendsmith Snake Eye, but they're also playing Azamina in it, and the Kashtira package, which I think is a bit much, but they fit it into 45 cards, which I'm honestly just impressed by that. Not impressed with this opening hand, though. Would have much rather have gone second if I was going to open something like this. Now, to be fair, I could have used... Well, no, I couldn't have used Dramatic... Well, okay, I could have used Dramatic Snake Eye Chase to place the Diabell Star and then special her and get a search during the end phase, and I would have done that if I didn't have Fuelos in hand. The Fuelos, I think I'm going to have to lean either... Well, it's going to be one of two things, right? I'm going to either have to lean into the high roll of Fuelos plus Max C to not lose here, or if my opponent has Ash Call by or Crossout, I need to go Fuelos first, bait out the interaction, then go for Max C. So either way, I think it's worth it to not play Dramatic Snake Eye Chase here, but... Anyway, they're going to place Fabled Luri from hand to go for Sengenjin. I'm going to use Ash Blossom on the Sengenjin, and I've been doing this a fair bit when I encounter Millennium. I really like using Ash Blossom on the first Millennium card because that's going to shut down their whole engine. Now you might be thinking, but Lex, look, then they go Bonfire for Snake Eye Ash. Isn't that so much worse? But here's the thing, right? If I let the Millennium engine go through, they're either going to make number 90 or just have another way to go into full combo anyway, right? So I think ashing the Millennium stuff is actually super worth it, IMO. But, yeah, they're going to Bonfire for Snake Eye Ash. Excuse me, Ash for Oak. Ooh, sorry about that. So, that tells me they probably already have Poplar in hand. But that is a little bit weird why you would go normal summon Snake Eye Ash if you already have Poplar in hand. Anyway, they're going to go for Ash Effects, sending the Fabled Lurry, which I also thought was a little bit weird because now you can't go for Doom Dragon anymore. Anyway, sure enough, they do have a call by for the Fuelos here. That's why we always chain that before Maxi if you have both in your hand. So we're going to chain Maxi to the call by, and that will end up resolving here. And they're just going to concede at that point. I thought that was a very early concede from my opponent. They really just did not want to play into Maxi? Really? Yeah, I would have at least, I don't know, tried. I mean, to be fair, it's like, it totally does kind of depend on what's in their hand, but I think summoning something like Flamberge to give me one draw here would have been fine. But again, I thought it was a little bit odd they added Oak, and they didn't summon Doom Dragon. And if you have Poplar in hand, I think you should definitely be normal summoning that instead of bonfiring for Ash and summoning that instead. Anyway, I don't mean to... I'm not trying to, like, tear down my opponent here or anything, but I just want to point out some, like, critiques, I guess, in case anybody's watching and, you know, hoping to improve and all that fun stuff. Anyway, we have one more duel we're going to finish off with. Let's do that one now. Our final opponent is going to be on Ancient Gear. So we are going first again, but we lost this coin flip, in all fairness. Alright, let's see if we can open playable stuff this time. And we do. We have Engraver and Diabell Star, so that's pretty good. And we have Lurry as well, but it's fine. So, as always, if I open Fiendsmith engine plus my main combo line, I'm going to start with Fiendsmith to try to bait their plays out, or their hand traps out a little bit. See if they have any, get a kind of a feel for that. Here my opponent's got a DD Crow on the Fabled Lurry. DD Crow. I mean, it's not bad in this format at all. It does kind of make me wonder what the... I guess the advantage of playing it over Bisteel is that, well, if I don't have a monster on the field, you can just use it, right? But I think Bisteels in general are still better. I wonder if there's like a deck reason. Like, something about Ancient Gears doesn't want you to use Bisteels for some reason. I don't know. Anyway. So, since the Fiendsmith line was cut off, we're just going to go Diabell Star for Snake Eye line. Going for the dramatic Snake Eye chase here to place the Snake Eyes Diabell Star. Sending it off with Ash and then linking into Poplar. Now we're going to use Poplar's effect to put the Snake Eyes Diabell Star back in our spell trap. And then, of course, we can summon by putting the Poplar in the spell trap. Oak F sending itself with Poplar, going for Flamberge here. Then, of course, going to want to make the IP. I mean, at this point, it's just pretty standard Snake Eye stuff. Well, except for the fact that we're not pivoting into Fiendsmith stuff, because, of course, we already did Fiendsmith stuff. I guess I didn't use Requiem. To be fair, I could still do Wait, I could totally still do Fiendsmith stuff here if I wanted to. Oh, I didn't even think about that during the actual game, but... Yeah, because I didn't actually use Requiem. So I could still go into, like, Moon of Closed Heaven for Requiem for the last Engraver in my deck. For Sequence for, like, Desiree. I should have done that here, actually. Yeah, that was a misplay on my part. Oh, because I could have negated Prom Princess here, too. Like, I'm pretty sure I could have ended on 2-Mat Apo, Desiree, Flamberge, IP here. Yeah, I should have done that. Oh, well. Oh, I think... Oh, no, I'm going for an Appaloosa here. Did I make a 4-Mat Apo here? Really? Instead of going into Sequence? Oh, because I didn't have enough Light Fiends in my graveyard, because I didn't do the rest of my Fiendsmith line. That's why I went to a 4-Mat Apo here. Yeah, I could have ended on a much better board than this. I should have been able to end on 2-Mat Apo Desiree Flamberge IP, I think, with all that. It is actually kind of nice getting to use Dramatic Snake Eye Chase summon IP during your end phase, because then you're not playing into, like, Thrust or anything by doing it during their draw phase. Okay, so my opponent's going to lead with the Ancient Gear Fortress, which I definitely want to banish with SP. It's why I activated IP here, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to respond to their Ancient Gear cards or effects for the rest of the turn. But they're going to play another card I can't respond to, Super Polymerization. They are actually going to get to fuse away my IP and Appaloosa for the Adagnister Earth Golem. Yeah, Earth Golem Adagnister. Alright, so they're going to go for Ancient Gear Advance in order to add the Catapult, and I'm like, alright, hope Joel and Lockbird is enough, because I just got this in Imperm, and it actually did end up being enough. What does Catapult do again? Control no monsters. Oh, that's why they don't play Bystials, because this only works when you control no monsters. Makes sense. So yeah, I think they would have tried to have summoned the Ancient Gear Dark Golem. Is that what it's called? The new one? The one that like searches to and then you discard one. But they wouldn't have been able to do that because of Droll and Lockbird. So it makes sense why they conceded into the face of the Droll there. It's funny, those last two opponents both kind of conceded really quickly as soon as we had a powerful hand trap. But I mean, I guess they are powerful hand traps, right? So... Alright, that is going to do it for this one. So thank you as always for watching. Why don't we move on now to our outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Just want to give you a huge thanks for watching all the way to the very end of the video. Believe it or not, that is actually one of the best ways that you can support the channel, is by watching the videos in their entirety. But there are many ways in which you can support the channel if you are so interested. The names that you're seeing on screen here, I gotta give an extra special thanks to, because these are people who have chosen to either become a member on YouTube, which if you're interested you can do as well via the join button next to the subscribe button down there, or have signed up over on Patreon and become members there. Link to that is going to be in the description below. Without the support that is being offered by, again, all the people that you're seeing on screen right here, I would not be able to take the time to dedicate to uploading daily YouTube videos. So thank you so very much. But there are also other ways you can support as well. Again, link to the description below. If you like my deck tracker that you'll see in a lot of my videos, the Untapped Companion, you can download that for free, and if you use my affiliate link down there, then that also goes a long way towards supporting the channel. That's, again, free. So is subscribing here on YouTube. That's also free and a huge way to support. You can also check out Twitch, once again linked in the description below. Following and subscribing over there will not only support as well, but also give you notifications of when I go live if you want to catch some of the live streams. But really, no matter how you choose to support, it all adds up, and it all definitely means the world. So thank you, each and every one of you. For now, this is Hexlex. I'm going to be signing out. But more than that, I'm hoping that you have a fantastic day.